All right, so this is it's a little bit different from most of the content on the channel, but this is the direction the channel was supposed to take initially upon its conception. Uh, it just kind of winded up being a lot of FIFA getting uploaded, but the direction we're going tonight is the direction initially intended. So, without further ado, because I am, what's today? The 18th. I'm officially 11 days behind. This was supposed to drop on the 7th. Due to some other extenuating circumstances, I was unable to drop this video on the 7th. Or this, I won't call it a video. I was unable to drop this, what's a good word? I was unable to drop this dialogue or discourse because some other things I had going on, some pressing issues and matters, whatnot. But this is Reparations, Part 1. Reparations for African Americans or Black Americans, whatever they want to be called nowadays, whatever we want to be called nowadays. My reasoning or my understanding of reparations in America, and I had hoped to make this video a little more animated, or I'd hoped to make the dialogue a little more animated, but I'm unable to, so it's just gonna be still gonna hit you with the facts, still gonna give you information. It's searchable, information that is able to be cited. You know what I'm saying? Like, everything I'm putting in here is gonna be pretty much facts. For lack of better words, it's gonna be facts. So I'm gonna go through my notebook here. To a couple of pages. Let's see. All right. So I think this is where I left off in my notes. All right. I'm gonna touch on a couple of points here. Reparations being one of them. And I might kind of go off the rails a little bit. I might start off going north. I may turn east. You know what I'm saying? I may stop, get a little gas, and go west, get back going north. May even go south once or twice. But we're gonna keep the overall idea the same, and the information is all out there. It's all out there. It's easy to search it, easy to look it up. I want to start by saying that free speech in America is extinct. Free speech no longer exists in America, and it's sad. It's sad that free speech no longer exists. This was a great country up until about I was born in the early part of the 90s, so country was still kind of in decent shape. It was starting to unravel. Beginning to unravel in the so many different points you could say that. The country was established in 1776, And 200 years later, in 1976, there were signs of decline already after 200 years, which is not a long time. It's 2 lifetimes. If you live to be 80 or 90 years old, it's about two and a half, maybe 2 lifetimes. So I noticed. I can't really determine what age, but I noticed when I got really into history. I've always been in history, but when I got into the deeper side of history, deeper side, that's poorly said, but the more I delved into history, I noticed the American democracy began to decline, in my opinion, somewhere around 2003, 2004. You know, things were plateauing by 2003, 2004. And '06, '07, it started going downhill. Here we are 20 years later. I'm 20 years elder now. And so here we are. So let's go ahead and kick this off, man. I'm going to just kind of skim through my notes a little bit. I may read directly from it. I may just kind of gather some ideas from the notes, but these notes are written down. All right, so anyway. And this is concerning black people, you know. Anybody's welcome to chime in, give their opinion, because to me, free speech is essential. Although that can be argued, depending on what capacity one is in. Free speech can either help or hinder. So, all right, so anybody's welcome to chime in, give us your thoughts, whatever. Comment, argue with me. Let's go live. Let's debate about it. Hey, I'm open to debate. All right, so in my opinion, and I'm gonna reiterate that as much as I can. In my opinion, black people in America need to look at the news with an objective point of view. Mainstream media plays on our intelligence every single day. Some of the information and data I'll be presenting is all citable. Like that's double entendre, oxymoron, whatever they call it. The data I'm presenting will all be citable. My opinion is just simply that. It's my opinion. I don't have it on screen yet, but I will give you the URLs, the websites to go check it out on, or just the search that I used in Google. The search term I used in Google. You can pull it up, go directly to it. It's not hard to do. Black people in America have been in this country since its inception, 1776, when the founding fathers declared themselves independent from British rule. Black people were here and had been here for some time, even before 1776, cultivating, building the land up, strengthening the economy, assisting their masters or whoever was in charge of them. Yet here today, with all that being said here today, we're still skipped over. Black people in America, we're not even looked at as human uh, until around 200 years after Thomas Jefferson, George Washington, all those guys. Till about 200 years after those guys declared their independence from Britain. Weren't even looked at as human. Couldn't vote, had no voice. Uh, in some instances, you had cases where, you know, one out of every 100,000 may have had a little leeway here or there, but overall, not even looked at as human. As I stated already, African Americans helped build this nation's economy before there were other instances of migration or immigration. All right, so we'll fast forward a lot because not a lot happened other than, a little slavery. Britain invaded again. Let's see, 1800s. She got a couple of inventions coming along. Technology starting to increase. A couple of more wars were fought. A couple of wars were fought. Louisiana Purchase, Mexican-American War. Expansion into the West. What did they call it in the school textbooks? Manifest Destiny. All that was going on. But let's fast forward to Japanese and Native American reparations in America, in North America. We'll begin with the Native Americans. So, beginning with the natives, after their land was pillaged and robbed and taken from them, all that good stuff, the United States federal government paid out $1.3 billion. And I didn't get when they started, but it should be able to be found. The United States government paid out $1.3 billion up until 1978 to Native Americans after World War II. Okay, so there it is. So after World War II, reports claim that that 1.3 billion is equal to about $1,000 for every Native American. Which just no, that's it's no. That's totally inaccurate, incorrect. They said it's $1,000 for every Native American. So were they not counting these people in the census or part of the population at the time? In my opinion, that's another play on intelligence because they, when I say they, the people that do the people that do these accountings and write these stories, they aren't taking into account that the dollar was worth more then. So they aren't taking into account inflation and just if you think about it, 1945 to 1978. What's that? 33 years. Are you seriously telling me that there's a whole nother billion people? Well, what's a thousand? What's a billion divided by 1,000? Let's go do the math real quick. Let's see. I can't even do that on the calculator. Won't let me do that. Let's see. Can I Google it? 1 billion divided by 1,000 plus the extra 300 million. That's 1 million. So you telling me you gave 1 million people $1,000 over a 33-year period? Nah, man. Nah. And then $1,000 back in 19. We rounded off 33, so 17. So let's say 16. So let's say from 45, so it'd be 61. $1,000, 1,000 USD in 1961 was worth approximately $10,000 today. So, it's different ways to poke holes in that theory. Let's continue on. $580 million in 2023 was given to the Native Americans due to a water rights settlement. So they, still pouring in billions of dollars into Native American tribes. 78 from 23 is 50, 40 odd years or so. 45 years. Yeah. 45 years later, still pouring billions, $500 million into the Native American community. And I'll be honest, that 580 million is a lot of it is going to development and infrastructure building. But when you think about it, I didn't delve too deep into who or what companies, received pieces of that money or whatever, but I gotta imagine it's companies that are either owned by some of those Native Americans or owned directly by the government or kin people of people in the government, would be my presumption. $492 million to 17 Native American tribes. And I have an excerpt I would like to read regarding that figure. Let's see. $492 million, billions of dollars already poured into building up the Native Americans' land that they've given them, not given them, that they've carved out for them. So I have an excerpt in here somewhere. You can see I'm probably not the best organized, but I guarantee you some of you educated people, some of your professors that were the least organized, you got the most information out of them. I guarantee you. So let's see. I was doing so much research at the time I had so many tabs open. British mandate for Palestine is not what I'm looking for. And I want to give you all this and not give you the excerpt. Okay, that's the Japanese I'm looking at. Japanese reparations. Okay, so I'm going to have to forego that excerpt. Looks like we will forego that first and second excerpt. But if you type in $492 million to 17 NA tribes, I guarantee that. Oh, fuck that. We just put it up. Just put it up. We got time. We're not in no rush. See. I this is my first time doing this. I will be better prepared next time. Native American. Let's see, 492 million to 17 Native American tribes. Yeah, here we go. This is NPR. This is NPR. U.S. government to pay $492 million to 17 Native American tribes for mismanaging natural resources and other tribal assets, according to an attorney. The settlements mark the end of a push by the Obama administration to resolve what the U.S. says is more than 100 lawsuits totaling more than $3.3 billion brought by American Indian individual and tribal governments against the federal government. So that's another thing I want to point out. In some of my dialogue with people on and off the internet, the question always arises, well, who's going to pay the money? What do you mean who's going to pay the money? The government should be forced to pay the money. The government profited from, slavery. The government profited. Yeah, the government should be responsible. Okay. I mean, they pay for a lot of other things that are just not even involving Americans. White Americans, freaking Mexican Americans, Chinese Americans. They pay for a lot of stuff overseas. You'd be surprised if you look at how much foreign aid the federal government expends per year. It's billions of dollars in foreign aid going to other countries instead of uplifting this country. So, this 492 million that Obama has promised these 17 tribes, some of it involves, land management, resource and assets controlled by the Native Americans. I would like to know what resources and assets the Native Americans control. I need to go delve deeper into that. So this is a quote by Obama. Few have been ignored by Washington as long as Native Americans. What in the fuck is he talking about? The first Americans. Too often, Washington has paid lip service to working with tribes. My Indian policy starts with honoring the unique government-to-government relationship and ensuring treaty responsibilities are met. So that's actually that's a very deep quote for a number of reasons, not the reasons that you think. It's actually deeper than that because way back all them years ago, obviously, federal government came to some understanding that what they had done to those people was wrong. They wronged those people. They wronged the Native Americans. They said they marched them across, however, I don't know, Trail of Tears, however many miles it was. They marched them across all, moved them from Mississippi, Louisiana, Georgia, out of Florida, all this Spanish land. And they marched them to wherever they marched them to. Mistreated them, did all that stuff to them. Went to war with them, fought wars with them. Those Native Americans fought wars with those people, and they were gonna fight them to the end. So that's another thing. We need to touch on that war. Anyway. Federal government came to an understanding that what they had done was wrong, and it took a while. It took 100 or so years, 200 years, or not even 200, because they began fighting probably in the 1800s. So what? Yeah, so about 200 years. So, and that's the thing. You're not doing it necessarily for you. You're doing it to make the people after you, to help their lives along the way. Anyway, I told you I would start north and go east, west, side. So let's get back on track here. So I hate that I left that excerpt out of my notes. I'm not able to find that excerpt. So, I mean, just in what I've told you alone, that's $2 billion there in reparations given to Native Americans. $2 billion, 3 instances. But there's more. There's more. I'm seeing in my notes excerpt 2. That's why it's always good to, you say you're gonna do something, go ahead and do it, because you're man, so much to transpire between when you say you're gonna do it and the time that you actually do it. So much happens. I've lost some of my train of thought with my notes. Not my train of thought, my notes train of thought, or what direction I want to go in according to the notes. But I mean, I just go straight into it. I'm not scared of it. Land. So when they brought the Africans from Africa to America, they didn't drop them off right in Mississippi. They didn't drop them off in Alabama. They didn't drop them off in Georgia. Didn't drop them off in Tennessee, Oklahoma, Texas, all these places where slaves were held. They didn't drop those people off there. Those are inland places. There were ports along the eastern region of the continent. I'm not sure the amount. I won't lie to you. They dropped these people off at ports and divided them up, sold them, pick which ones they wanted. The ones that hadn't died from the journey, the ones that survived the journey, Uh, this was what, a 3 month journey, I think, with little to no food, no real nutrition. Uh, they dropped those people off in North Carolina, some Virginias, some Floridas, some islands. Dominican Republic, all those places, Bahamas, all those places. And they had to get these people from these port stations to the landowner's land in Mississippi or Tennessee or Georgia. So what I'm getting at is, uh, they didn't put these people on horses or in carriages. Uh, they didn't fly them. Flight was not around back then that we know of. They marched those people from North Carolina, Florida, Virginia. They marched those people. So it's another test of strength. Poor women and children. So you may have not even survived the march to Mississippi, to Georgia, to Florida, to Tennessee, to Texas, to Oklahoma, to Missouri, to Illinois. You may not even survive that march. So not only did you march or walk, I won't say march. So once you make it to where your owner is at, now becomes the rest of your life. Here's the rest of your life. You work here without any pay, from sun up to sundown. You may get a little time after you get off of the plantation to I don't know, maybe wash. You might get to wash yourself. I'm talking about yourself, not talking about your clothes, or you might get to wash, but man, chances are you've been working a 12 or how many hours in a day is it? 24 hours in a day, and you were up before the sun rose again to get your day started. So you may have worked 14, 15-hour shift. Get an hour to eat maybe after you get off. The wife. It's horrible. So you work these acres of land for these people that you don't know. Talking about the first Africans now, the first immigrants or migrants or slaves, whatever you want to call them. They're working this land for these people they don't know. They're speaking a foreign language. They're whipping you, abusing you, taking the women. You know what they're doing with the women. Children too, no doubt. Come on, man. So these people got rich. These landowners. Now I will say this regarding the landowner. But you have to be in the middle. You have to see both sides. The landowner and his ancestors may have fought for their land, fought valiantly against the British or whoever they were fighting against. They expelled those people from America, Spanish too. So they may have bled and died for their land, which is fine and dandy. It's fine and dandy. It makes it theirs. Voila, you won the war. To the victor goes the spoil. So, but these people got rich off of basically free labor. I mean, it's really a topic that it's a really broad topic, but you do have to have the history lesson to have a full understanding of the delicacies and the intricacies of the argument, because it's a delicate subject. Uh, okay, Paul. Yeah. All right, so you working these, or these people are working these lands for these people, and these people are getting rich. They not scraping by. They not barely making it. They don't afford. You don't build a plantation home off of barely making it. You don't acquire acres of land off of barely making it. So the tobacco, the cotton, the livestock, even just the breeding, just the making of other humans was a business. The the championship fighting amongst the slave. I mean, it was those owners devised a number of ways to acquire their wealth off of another human suffering, which has been going on since the beginning of time. Beginning of time. So, but the difference is everybody else has been reparated. Everybody else has been given a piece of the pie. Everybody, everybody. So, okay, so let's just move forward. Let's move forward from Native Americans and African Americans. Let's move forward to more modern history. Let's look at World War II and the attack on Pearl Harbor. It was a Japanese attack on an American base in Hawaii, an American naval base in Hawaii. Uh, what followed that attack on the mainland, in the mainland, was uh, the federal government again rounded up a bunch of Japanese citizens from all over the country, if I'm not mistaken. I was going to say California. I think the camps were in California, but the federal government rounded up a bunch of Japanese people, or Japanese citizens in America, because they were under the impression or scared that they may have been spies of some sort for the Empire of Japan at the time. So anyway, federal government rounded up Japanese citizens, Japanese American citizens, and placed them into holding camps basically until the end of the war, till they defeated the Empire of Japan with the atomic weapon. Notice what I say, until they defeated the Empire of Japan with the atomic weapon. They were not going to beat them with just soldiers. America, Russia. Russia had just lost a war to Japan 30 years prior to World War II. Russia had just been defeated by Japan. So with Germany down, Britain was, oh man, had gotten his butt kicked all throughout the war, all throughout World War II, since the 30s. It was getting their butt kicked. Their population was tired of fighting. America was really the only superpower left, or power in the powerful nation left to take on the Empire of Japan. So So anyway, America rounded up these Japanese citizens, placed them in camps until the end of the war. At the end of the war, when the Japanese citizens were released from the internment camps, uh, the Japanese also championed reparations. But here's the difference. Japan wasn't just talking about it. They weren't just hoping. They weren't just praying, reparations would fall out of the sky. The Japanese citizens, oh man, black people, this is what we got. We got to take a note out of somebody else's book other than the Sicilian Mafia or the Italian Mafia. Take a note out of some of these other books. The Japanese people voted. What did I say? Japanese people voted themselves into powerful positions, and they lobbied for reparations for their people. I have an excerpt from closeup.org. Let me see. I'll pull that up for you here. And I'm just laying it out. I'm just putting it out there. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. So let's see. Okay, so I really don't want to use Wikipedia, and I won't use Wikipedia. But hey, it's out there. It's out there. So this is from the National World War II Museum. I said I was going to read an excerpt from closeup.org. I will try to find it in one moment. This is from the National World War II Museum.org. Congress, which is the federal government, provided $38 million in reparations in 1948. To the Japanese American population, or the people that, that I guess filled out the paperwork or blah, 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 whatever. And an additional $20,000 per citizen, per Japanese citizen, to each surviving individual who had been detained. Of course, if your grandfather had survived, or your mother, say your mother had survived the internment camp and died before the $20,000 was handed out, you would be next in line. So pretty much every Japanese citizen that could prove that their family had survived the internment camp was awarded $20,000. $20,000 in 1988. Let's go look that up. It's equivalent to $53,000. They gave $53,000 to every Japanese American citizen that could prove that they had survived the internment camp. I want to read this excerpt because I wouldn't have written it down if it wasn't important, or if I didn't think it was important. And I'm just putting it out there. I'm just saying what they did and how we can take a page out of their book. Because right is right and wrong is wrong, man, at the end of the day. Closeup.org. Oh my God. This is going to be hard to 24. This is from closeup.org, February 24th, 2021. That excerpt is involving it's about the discussion being brought up in Congress and whatnot pertaining to African Americans or Black Americans reparations. It's still in question, still up for debate. It's still up for debate because of a number of reasons. Jesus Christ, I wish I would have saved the friggin' I'm learning. I won't make that mistake again. I promise you that. I don't have it in here. But you can obviously go type that in. I'm giving you the URL, giving you the website, giving you the date it was published. I did that much. Yes, History Archives. That's what I'm saying. So, Close Up Foundation. February 24th. That's the 23rd. Oh yeah, here's the article here. 156 years and counting. Reparations for slavery in 2021. So it was a discussion. It's been brought up, but there is little progress being made because of division, obviously. The Japanese and the Native Americans can get it done, so can we. Let's see. The United States only officially apologized for slavery in 2009, so they didn't even think enough about you to apologize for what they had done. Yeah, and here's the paragraph about Japanese reparations. Question I get, because I'm an advocate. I'm an advocate, and question I get, well, who's gonna pay it? The same people that paid the Native Americans and Japanese. You know, it shows you that a lot of people don't read. If people read more, they would be so much more informed. And don't just read what people tell you to read. Read a little deeper. Read something else. Read from another source. Man, you could draw your own conclusion. And that's what you should be doing anyway, drawing your own conclusion. Let me not get off. So don't think it can't happen, because there is a possibility that it can happen. It's just gonna take it's gonna take a conglomerate. It's gonna take a group. It's gonna take a group effort. It's gonna take us coming together, and not shying away from opposing ideas. It's okay to disagree. It's okay to not have the same train of thought. A lot of people fear, what am I trying to say? A lot of people fear can't think of a more eloquent word. A lot of people fear arguing, but I mean, wow. Another part in my notes is foreign aid. Foreign aid is completely out of control. Government spending is way up on foreign aid. There's a lot of aid being poured into South America, Canada, countries in Africa, Middle Eastern countries, Pacific countries, but not a lot of money being spent inside America. By America. America is a capitalist society, unfortunately. And that's topic for a whole nother day. Capitalism. Look where it has gotten us. Foreign aid is way out of control. So we just follow the notes. Just follow the notes. A lot of black people, I know at one point in time, were quick to claim, oh, I'm part French, I'm part Irish, I'm part Native American, I'm Latin, I'm part Greek, I'm Turkish, all that crap. These people claim to be part this and part that, yet you go to that part of the world, they won't even accept you. You don't know the language, you don't know the culture, you don't know your own culture, you don't know your own language, which it can be argued that America is our language and culture now, which I'm not against that argument. You got a lot of people wanting to claim to be this and that, but speak one language. And you can't find anybody that will identify with you. Nobody, no Greek is going to tell you, yeah, I'm part Egyptian, or I'm part Libyan, or I'm part Ethiopian. Stop being ready to claim something that don't want to claim you. You know what I'm saying? Come on. I mean, that's simple math, simple arithmetic. 1, 2, 3. If you weren't born in that part of the world or into that tribe, man, let it go. People, those international sports stars, Giannis. This is going kind of left. Giannis, some of those soccer players, Mbappe. Just trying to think of some more black guys that are international. The guy from Spain, they just won the UEFA. Nico Williams, I think is his name. Those guys were born in Spain and born in France and actually born in Greece. So they, those are the people that say, yeah, I'm part Greek, or I'm Greek, or whatever. Whatever. You born in America, your mammy is born in America, your pappy, your brother, your sister, your grandmammy, your grandpappy. You're American, bro. You're a black American. Cut it out, man. What's the problem with wanting to be or accepting that you're just a black American? What's the problem with that? you really don't you don't see how much influence you have over the rest of the world if you these black people in America, man, stop looking at freaking TikTok. Oh yeah, well I take that back. If these black people in the world stop focusing on what they see around them and broaden their spectrum, broaden their line of view, sight of view, whatever point of view, you would see that everybody in the world looks to you for everything. They look to you to see what's cool, what's in, what's hot, what's not. So you should be proud to be a black American. Africans in Africa look to black Americans just to decide what's cool, what's in, what's the music, what's the hand signal. You know, come on, bro. All that claiming that other stuff, that's an attempt to circumvent you from what you really are. Blacks from their blackness. You know, I've never voted in America. I never voted at all. Uh, and a decade of being able to vote, I've never voted because none of the candidates align with my black uh, issues. My first time I was able to vote was in 2011. So it would have been Obama's second term. He didn't resonate with me. I will be truthful and admit I didn't look into my local elections because I didn't look into the local elections to vote because nobody appealed to me directly. And that goes back to the Japanese. They voted. They stood together. They vote. They live in the same neighborhoods, and they have the same cause. They come over here with the intention of I'm a Japanese citizen first. I'm a Japanese person first, and this is who I'm looking to better. This is who I'm working for. I'm working for Japanese. I'm not working for Americans. I'm working for self first. So none of the candidates. I've yet to see a candidate actively seek to represent me personally, or even a group of my peers personally. There's not been a single candidate since I've been able to vote that I can say that has done that. Of course, that's easier said than done, but I mean, it's got to start somewhere. You get it started, and if it's a righteous and just cause, the rest will work itself out. You know, I won't get into Trump. I got something in my notes here regarding Trump and Biden, but with Trump's latest, uh, you know, what all he's got going on, I'll leave him out of this. I will say this about Joe Biden. He is tested positive for COVID, but isn't he like triple or quadruple vaccinated? So I don't know what's going on with that. But anyway, Also, Joe Biden said that he didn't want his children going to school with other inner city children. So just leave that there. I had a guy talk to me one time, a relative of mine was telling me, and this was before I was as educated as I am now. He was telling me that, back in segregation or back in Jim Crow and all that going on, that it was a lot better for black people because we had black-owned businesses, we had black schools, we had black, mom and pop shops, black seamstresses, black leather workers, black cobblers. We had our own, kind of similar to the other. I mean, if you just look around, you know, I'm just using them as an example. They're easy. There's a lot of them here, and you can just tell. You look around the Mexicans or the Latin Americans, the migrants, immigrants, whatever they are, whatever we call them nowadays. They're not coming to Big Willie's hamburger shop to eat. They're not going to Little Jimmy's tire shop to get their tires worked on, or, you know. They're not even joining Little Jimmy's football team. Okay. Hey, man. So, I'm just saying, take a page, and we've done it before. It's when we desegregated. It caused a lot of you Negroes, think you had to be with Whitey to feel equal, Anyway, you know, I can go all day about that topic. So we need to bring back some ownership and spending in the black community. It's a group effort though. It's a group effort. It's not just gonna happen overnight. And everybody can't be a business owner. Everybody can't be a boss. You're gonna have to have some workers. You know, everybody can't have a big palace to live in. Everybody can't drive the big 7 Series or your big your big G wagons or whatever the new one is, not the Brabus, the Benz truck. Everybody can't have all that, man. You shouldn't need all that. You're gonna die one day, man. You're gonna die one day, and none of that'll even matter. I promise you, you won't get to the afterlife. I promise you, when you get to the afterlife, the very last thing it ain't even cross your mind at all about your bank account, your G wagon, your Versace, your Louis, your Jewy, your Pooey, Hooey. None of that's gonna even cross your mind. So we got to put some of that to the side, and that's also another topic for another day. Reading. I mentioned this a couple minutes ago. Reading is so essential. You have to read. That's why they didn't want slaves to read, because you can empower yourself. You can empower people around you if you read. I mean, read novels, read fiction, nonfiction. All of it is going to help you develop your imagination, especially the young children. You have to read to young children more than just more than just more than just ponies and magical horses, or about football, basketball, Sports Illustrated. Read. Nothing wrong with reading magazine articles. They kind of help you get some information, some stats maybe. But read news, read novels, read fiction, nonfiction, read the news, read newspapers. You can read on your phone. Man, just read, bro. I promise you, it'll expand your knowledge. You'll be able to have conversation with people. People will know that you're read, that you're a reader. If you read, it's people that read can tell other people have read. Textbooks, school books. May not like it. May be boring. It's not what everybody else is doing. But if you want to be a step ahead of the next person, man, just read a little bit. You can hide stuff from people in books. That's why the slave owners didn't want the slaves reading, because if the slaves could read that Bible and read with some understanding, they would have a lot would be different. A lot would be different. Teach your children to read. Read to your children. Read and understand, read and comprehend, so that you can take the knowledge back to your neighborhood, so that we can decide yes or no for this or that. Continue with the notes here. It's just notes, man. It's just notes. Started off on reparations. All this is pointing back to it. It all goes back to it. This may be an unpopular opinion, but I've been around all of them. Crips, Bloods, gangsters, vice. I've been around all of them. All that caused you to get arrested. That caused you to go spend a couple days in jail. And then your mama or your daddy or your grandma or your granddaddy got to come up off some money to go get your black ass out of jail. So my advice would be to stay away from all. If you read, let's go back to the last page of notes. If you read, you would know that all those gangs, they come from one gang, the Black Panther Party, which was the best thing black folks had going for a little while. Black Panther Party. It's a political party. They come from the Panthers. Crips, Bloods, all of them stem from the Panthers. So we won't get into Panthers on this episode, but you read a little bit, do a little bit of history, read a little bit, you would see that Brother Newton, what's that other brother name? Isaac. It's another prominent Panther in Chicago. Those brothers were preaching. You and black brother. I'm gonna look it up. I'm not just gonna leave it out like that. Brother Hewitt P. Newton and brother Frederick Allen Hampton. Brother Newton, brother Hampton, they killed both of them brothers. Federal government killed both of those brothers. You ain't never heard about the Black Panthers fighting no other black people. You ain't heard about the Panthers killing nobody. You ain't heard about Malcolm X killing nobody. You ain't heard about Martin Luther King killing nobody. But the government killed all them brothers. That's the truth. And I got off topic there, but you know, I ain't never seen a Crip or a Blood go into the bank and say, hey, I'm a Crip or I'm a Blood, and I need a loan for this house. Or I need a loan to get my baby a college tuition, pay for my baby's college, or pay for a ride for my baby, or pay for a ride for myself so I can go buy. No. You ain't seen it, I ain't seen it, and at the rate it's going, we ain't gonna see it. But I tell you this, I guarantee you, some other guys, another color of people, can walk into the bank and say, "Hey, I'm a Freemason, or I'm a Klansman, I'm a Japanese American, I'm a Mexican American. I need a loan." All right, but that Crip and Blood stuff, man, that ain't that's black on black terrorism, black on black crime, and but if we come together, we get together, come together as one, we can change that to where you can go into a bank and say, "Hey, I'm a Crip, I'm a Blood, I need a loan. I need to get my child tuition paid for this semester, or hey, I want to buy a home. I want to buy a store. I want to buy this lot downtown and put a store up. I'm a Crip and a Blood, and I want to take out a. If we come together, we can make that happen." All right, so moving on. Controversial topic alert coming up here. Controversial topic coming up here. It just is what it is. I'm just gonna tell it like it is. This is in my notes. I wrote it down because I thought it was important. These religious institutions, these churches, that's in every black neighborhood, on every corner. You've been scammed. You've been made a fool of. These people would have you think that 10% of your money should go to what? To the lights. To the pastor himself, maybe. These people would have you think that God is gonna punish or relinquish you for giving 10% of your money to putting 10% of your money into a pot, basically. I promise you, when you get to the afterlife, God's not going to ask you, what did you do with 10% of your money? I promise you. Promise you. And if he does, yeah, that's my opinion. If he does, hey, well, I gave my money to the people. I didn't put it in no pot to be distributed amongst church expenses or buildings expenses. I didn't put it in no pot like that. Nah. I gave to people on the street. I helped out who I was able to help out when I was able to help them. And people are quick to read that 10% verse. They're really quick to read that 10% verse, but they skip over the verse in Deuteronomy where it says that your tithes every third year should go to the poor. They skip over that verse. You probably don't even know that verse exists. So, and then the people that they put in these leadership positions in these churches are just automatically revered by people. I mean, just it's pretty much the same way the president and the senator and all that. They're just automatically revered by people, just with little gleaming eyes, just looking up, waiting on them to say, it's gonna rain pizza tomorrow, and then people think it's gonna rain pizza tomorrow. I come to you to say, I'm sure it's one out of every 100,000, one out of every million. You never see these people in your neighborhood. You never see these people at the schools talking to the children, ministering to the children, because that's what it's ultimately about. That's your only job on earth, is to repopulate the earth. It ain't about building wealth, owning land, because none of that matters. You're going to leave all that here. Your only job is to repopulate earth. That's really your only job. So anyway, you don't see these people in the communities. You don't see them at the parks. You don't see them at the basketball games, at the YMCAs, at the gyms. You don't see them. You never see these people out, these preachers. You never, and I just, it's just odd. It's just kind of odd. You never see them ministering the way Jesus ministered to people. And they say, be like Jesus, be Christ-like. What would Christ do? Christ got out on the street. Christ hit the streets. He didn't go in no building looking to save people. They claim they already saved. What's the point of that? That's just the truth, man. You can read the text for yourself. Go back to what I said. If you read, you would know that. But if you let somebody read to you, you had to come to it on your own. So you might start seeing that, because I said it first. And you got it right here first on this day. What's this? July 18th, 2024. You might. That's just because the powers that be like to keep a hold on things, like to seem a certain way. You might see one or two preachers, start, and they'll be scared for their life because they don't interact with regular people every day. I'm gonna tell you a story. I was working at a plant one time for a very short period of time. I was working at this place, and I'm a real low level. I was a low level guy, just a production guy, and the minister, or a minister, that ministered to some of my family members, and I've never even told them this. I don't think I ever tell them. Minister ministers to some of my family members. He happened to work at the plant as well. He's an educated man, I would presume. He was kind of in like management or upper management level. I have personally, and it's other people there that knew the man, and they just kind of blew it off. They just kind of blew it off, and it was so amazing to me. I shaking this man's hand in church, and I'm sure he sees 1,000 people every day, hundreds or so people every day. I've never met a more rude person in my life. I called him by his title, Reverend, whatever. Man looked at me like I was talking to a dog or a frog on the street, you know? That's how I know these people don't get out in their communities. They don't live where you live. They don't eat where you eat. They nah. I'm not into all that. I'm not gonna get into all that. Yeah, so I'm just saying, you never see these people, these ministers in the ghettos where, where ministry should be. You never see those people there, and there's a reason for that. It ain't just by chance. It ain't just one out of every 10 or no. I couldn't believe that some of the elder women that I work with, they just, well, that's just how he is. Well, what? How can you be a leader and interact that way with the small folks? So anyway, we just move on from that. Next section of my notes, people will say, well, who's supposed to pay the reparations? Who's supposed to pay the reparations? Well, we already discussed the federal government paid for the Native American and the Japanese reparations in America. So you telling me they can do it for 2 ethnicities but not a third? The third ethnicity being the ethnicity that came over here with them? Okay. All right. So people will say that. They'll say, well, who's supposed to pay it? Well, then the barrier is put up. The government didn't enslave you. Well, no, the government didn't enslave you, but the senators and the delegates and the presidents and the congressmen and the mayors and the legislators, they were slave owners. So when they come to those congressional meetings and when they, meet in Washington or meet in Philadelphia, wherever they meet at, they were making laws to keep their profits up, to keep their slaves. So it's the government, bro. Don't be stupid, Those people were slave holders, and they enacted laws and pushed certain agendas to keep slavery alive up until the Civil War broke out. Then they'll say, well, all the slaves are dead. All the slaves are dead. You can't give money to dead people. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You did it for the Japanese Americans. You did it for the Native Americans. All the slaves are dead. Well, their descendants walked these very lands that they walked on, that they worked. We can bag up 2-3 sentences, and you know we can bag up 2 or 3 sentences. Uh, not every slave owner was a senator or a politician or a delegate or congressman or whatever. Some of them were private citizens. Some of them were private citizens. All right. So after the Civil War ends and slavery is abolished officially, okay, these private citizens and these delegates, these congressmen, these politicians, it's illegal now to 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 own humans in America. Now it's illegal, so you can get in trouble for that if the law is upheld. You can get in trouble for that. So it's quite simple. All you gotta do is read. Just read a little bit. These same people uh, founded some of these organizations and companies that are still alive to this day. Uh, I hate that I can't name any exact companies, and that may take away from that may take away some legitimacy from my argument. But I mean, just use examples: Coca-Cola, Hanes, Fruit of the Loom. Uh, I mean, some old companies, RC, Pepsi. When slavery became illegal, that's when you start seeing the industrial revolution. These people put the money they had made and saved off the slaves' backs, they put that into corporations now and businesses. Hey man, all you gotta do is read. The information is out there. Industrial revolution happened right after the Civil War. That's where you start seeing a lot of industry move in. You think that industry just got founded out of nowhere? You think they came up with those? They built those factories and the shipping you think they built that out of nowhere with loans or something? Sometimes maybe. There are innocent people in every ship. Read a little bit more and get back at me. So then we get back to where we were. There, you fast forward. Slavery was 200 years ago. Slavery was 200 years ago. Slavery only ended 159 years ago. That's two people that you know are 80 years old. My grandmother just passed away at about 90, close to 90 years old. And her mother lived to be about 90, almost 100. So that's slavery right there. Those direct descendants of slavery. Uh, One was born, my grandmother, great grandmother, was born in 1935. Huh? 1935. Her mother was born in, what? 1900? 1901, 1902, 03. Civil War had just been fought 40 years ago. That's a grown man. That's me. Hey, man. If you listen to what these people tell you, you'll be just as confused. You'll be just as mixed up as they are. So, I mean, it's easy to point out heirs or descendants from it's easy to do. It's easy to trace. They were able to trace the Japanese. Why wouldn't they be able to trace you? You wouldn't be over here if it wasn't for slavery. You would not be in America had it not been somebody, some of your ancestors, you know. You wouldn't be here had it not been for them ancestors. So you are a descendant of a slave. And also, you gotta keep in mind, uh, certain things are out of our control. What God has willed will be. It don't matter what you do. Come earthquake, pothole, sinkhole, flood, rainstorm, firestorm, ice storm, zombies. If God willed it, it will be. If He willed us to get our, peace. They say last will be first, first will be last. If we meant to get it very last, that's just the way it's gonna be. But these words should open your eyes at least. Those with open ears will have their eyes open. More so than reparations. Uh, Government's taking advantage of you. It's taking advantage of your children. It's taking advantage of your ancestors, your forefathers. And will continue to do so unless you band together and put a lid on some things. You can't be. It's it's popular now to have a popular opinion. Not all that long ago, in 1776, it was unpopular to have an unpopular opinion. So it's been done once; it can be done again. Uh, we won't go. We won't delve into anymore. I don't have anything else written out that I want to go over. Those excerpts that I wasn't able to pull up exactly. I did give you all at least the website or the search terminology to type in any search engine. You can pull up those. Pull up those articles. Those numbers can be looked at. So this is that's round one. That's round one. This is the whole point of the channel. The channel is called Revolution Radio for a reason. I didn't just come up with that by, I didn't just come up with that. There's actually meaning behind that name. A lot of what I'm saying is probably unpopular. Probably some people would say I'm a socialist or a nationalist, or they want to label. People like putting labels on things. It makes it easier for them to understand it. But when you generalize something, you really miss the substance of it when you generalize it. So I would like to learn more about nationalism and socialism so that I can make a conscious discernment between the two. Because to be a nationalist is to be a Nazi. To be a socialist is to basically be a communist. But Is it anything wrong with wanting to better your nation, having your nation be strong? Is it anything with is there anything wrong with wanting social justice for the communal? I I mean, some people would argue yay or nay. I think that some things are just it just is what it is, man. Right is right, wrong is wrong. It is what it is, man. I will get into this before I exit. We've been running at 90 minutes now. Yeah, a little over 90 minutes. A lot of people say, well, they just disregard the fact that the government we touched on foreign aid, but they disregard that. Okay, well, we're sending. Listen to me when I say this. I'm gonna even put it up here so I can have an exact figure to go by. Oh, it was 5 days ago. $175 billion in aid to Ukraine. $175 billion in aid to Ukraine. And you got people eating out of garbage cans in my neighborhood. And you would ask God to bless this country and let people eat out of garbage cans. God bless America, but just let the people eat out of the garbage cans. Capitalism is not sustainable. It's honestly not sustainable. Look at where we're at. That's not where I wanted to go with that, but I wanted to go with people. People say, when all you gotta do is read. Just read a little bit. 175 billion. All of it's not, necessarily cash money, which is okay, which is fine. That's cool. That's cool. All of it's not cash money. So, well, then people say, well, why you just think they just gonna give you money? They ain't got to. Hey, make some jobs, build some houses. Hey, hire some contractors, make some jobs, build some houses, build the roads, build better schools, build community centers. But we can't just. It's gonna take getting the message to the public, and that's what we're trying to circumvent right now. We people, people working with me behind the scenes. We're working on developing ways to get this message out to the public without being censored, without dialing back on our beliefs or anything. So it takes time. It takes time, and I may not live to see it. My children may not live to see it, but if somebody from the future can benefit from what we started today, mission complete. The mission is complete. If we can benefit 3 people in the future, hey, mission complete. Of course, we hope to benefit everybody, starting off with all Black Americans, and then we can look outwards after we get us right. So this is coming to you, man, from the general himself. This is coming to you directly from the general of the revolution. It won't be televised. won't be pretty. Won't be marching up and down the street. No. It's gonna take some heads. It's gonna take some heads. It's gonna take some blood. Uh, you know, if David would have looked at Goliath and said, "Man, I'm gonna just pray about it. I'm gonna leave it to God." Goliath would have killed David. He would have never been king. You got to fight for what you believe in. Fight for what's right, because wrong is gonna fight for what's wrong. Give it back to him in spades. Hey, gotta start somewhere. Feel free to chime in. Feel free to comment. Feel free to disagree. Feel free to agree. Feel free to voice your own opinion here in the comments or with some type of retort, video retort, or get in contact with me. You can contact me on Reddit. You can contact me here on YouTube. I got my PSN. You can contact me on PSN. I'm available. I'm reachable. You can reach me more than one way. I'm not hard to get in touch with. If you feel in it, if you feel strongly, either way, if you feel strongly for yay or nay, make that known, and because that's the only way change happens. If you keep it all inside, you very rare you're gonna see a change happen. But I won't hold you out any longer. We're well over the time. I didn't think it was gonna take this long, but this is what it took to get the information out there. Put the information. So we're gonna try to get this uploaded tonight. Right now, actually, not tonight. We're gonna try to get this uploaded right now. We're gonna hit it with the proper hashtags and try to beat the algorithm. We're gonna try to beat the algorithm so that this is what we're trying to do. We're trying to make it accessible, because you're fighting against AI, the algorithm, the deep state. Man, you're fighting against a lot, but it can be done. The war can be won. Vietnam did it. The Afghans did it. Palestine is doing it. It can be done. It's just it's gonna take some lives. It just takes lives. So much for that. So thank you all for tuning in. Those that did tune in, thank you for tuning in. Like, share, comment, subscribe. What more can we say? Thank you all. It's not going to be televised. Bear witness and behold.